So all these random things taught me how to do jugaad because I was not comfortable with my comfort zone, which is the most important thing. If you want to be a better version of yourself, your background should not stop you, but one thing you have to understand that it won't come easy. So I grew up in a small town called Jammu and Kashmir. So first thing in Hyderabad, people ask me is it peaceful there? So yeah, so it is peaceful, and Jammu is not really that backward. People do come up and do big things from there. But my background is not only about being from Jammu, but even in Jammu, I come from a lower middle class background. So my first 20 years of my journey was climbing the ladder, but within my small shell of Jammu, going from lower middle class background to, I'll tell you where. So my biggest inspiration in my life is my father, who started earning as an auto driver, and today he has a net worth of more than $5 million. So I grew up, I grew up listening to his stories, and that's what I think inculcated hard work in me. So I went to a small school where my classmates were kids of plumbers, carpenters, and daily wage laborers. So I didn't grow up with people with very strong pedigree. But why I'm highlighting pedigree here is because since childhood I believed in this thing that I had this urge to grow up with people whom I can learn something from. So I always wanted to hang out or make friends with people who can inspire me or who can teach me something. And that someone cannot be a celebrity like Bill Gates or Priyanka Chopra because they are too far. So we can read about them, but we cannot actually learn from them. So and today when I see back, I think I'm shaped up by those people who were my friends and the things I learned from them. So one such person when I was in school was one of my friend in 6th class, who taught me how can you do any random thing to achieve your goal. How can you always look for competitive things and keep yourself challenged at any point of time. So one such challenge in 6th class we had was we wanted to learn English. And I think for many such students at that age, that's one of the challenge. And one very random thing we did was, she told me we'll go to all the English speaking classes, the demo class, the free one version of each of the English speaking classes attended for 2 days, which is free, and we'll learn English. And that was one random thing I did as a 6th grader, that we actually went to almost 10 classes for the demo class there. So yeah, so all these random things taught me how to do jugaad and how do you start things to achieve what you want to. And by the time I completed my 9th class, I realized that I was in a small school and I didn't have very competitive environment. So I wanted to shift to a decent school. So one thing I want to highlight here is I was not comfortable with my comfort zone, which is the most important thing. If you want to be a better version of yourself, you have to see, I'm going to a bigger school where I might be in those bottom 20% of the people. I might feel weaker, I might feel inferior, I might feel low, but I have the remaining 80%, 80 students on top of me whom I can closely interact with and I can learn from them. And that's what I took that decision from. And I think my whole journey went on like that. I met new people, I learned from them. And from a small school to a decent school, and later I was in one of the top engineering colleges in Jammu with, I had 295 state rank in AIEEE, which is not a very big achievement being in Jammu because that's a small state, but being from that lower background within that state, taking yourself to those top 300 students in the state was a big deal for me. And that gave me confidence that now I have taken the challenge within my shell of Jammu and I have to come up and take bigger challenges in my life. So after 3rd year of my BTech, I came to Hyderabad in 2011 for my internship at CCMB. And there I met my co-founder Arjun, and I was very impressed with him because he was doing very big things which I didn't know about, like he was applying for scholarships to study abroad, internship abroad, publishing papers, discussing startup ideas, and I was like, what are all these things? And I was at a level where I was still learning English reading 10th grammar books after second year of my BTech, and I decided, I was in the thought process that I would go for MTech in an IIT. I was targeting that. So I wrote GATE exam, I got 221 All India rank, and I got into IIT Roorkee, IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur. But Arjun convinced me that we would study abroad for free with a scholarship, and he was that confident. We would study abroad for free, and that will be a better journey. So I thought, okay, let me join his path. We applied for, I think we went through about 500 scholarship. We applied for about 40 odd. And finally, I got admission for my MS in UK with a full scholarship. My full tuition fee was waived off. And Arjun got a scholarship where tuition fee, living expenses, everything was waived off. So that's my journey, how my co-founder and I got together, and till now how our entrepreneurial journey worked out. I'll tell you a little bit details on that. So when we landed in the UK, we were again not pure academic type students, so we wanted something out of the box to do. So we were looking for an opportunity when we saw this small notice on our university notice board about a beer competition. So we thought, okay, we will participate in that, and that competition was by this company called AB InBev, which is the biggest beer company, makes Budweiser and Stella Artois and all these beers. So we decided we'll brew a beer, but we had no idea. So then thinking of a jugaad, how do we start? We thought, okay, what we'll do is we'll go to Google, pull out a list of all the local breweries, go and meet them. So we went to about first, second, third, all of them asking that, can we intern with you? Almost 5 people said no. And then the 6th one was like, yeah, okay, you can come and see how the process works. So we interned with them, and we saw how the beer is made. Then we made our own beer, we did the branding, and it came out as a real product. It was sold at university souvenir shop as a university beer kind of thing. We won the UK competition by AB InBev. Our beer was marked as the best beer in the UK, and till that date, I never tasted beer. So, yeah. So that was the start of our entrepreneurial journey. 6 months of our 1-year masters. Out of our 1-year masters, 6 months were already over. We were onto this beer thing. But now what do we have to do next? That was the thought process. We never applied for any job with a faith in destiny that something will turn out. We don't have to do a job, so something else will happen. So then we thinking what we have to do next. It was already April 2013. And just 2 months before that, we started a small community called Scholarships on Facebook with a very simple intention that our juniors used to message us on Facebook asking us for scholarship, that how did we find it, how did we get it. We thought answering everyone one by one in messages, let us put all of them in a Facebook group and answer it once for all. So, but by this time, 2 months down the lane, the group had 20,000 members, and the number of queries was something which started as a hobby, was taking us at least 2 to 3 hours every day with that volumes of questions we had to answer. So one of our friends who was closely watching the growth of the group asked us, why don't you make it a business opportunity? We were like, what? We are biotech engineers. We don't know how IT and how do we make this a business opportunity? So we thought about it. We thought, okay, let's test the water, and what we did is we started 2 more Facebook groups related to scholarships, and 6 months down the lane, by the time we were done with our masters, the groups together had 1.5 lakh people. So that was a clear validation of the need that people wanted something of that sort. So we decided, we did a small survey on the group asking, shall we go for our monthly paycheck or continue this service, and the answer made our decision easier. We started with it. We struggled a little bit on the tech part, how to develop it, but it happened eventually. So one thing which was on our mind, that we wanted it to be inaugurated by a celebrity, a known person. So we thought, okay, HRD minister of that time, Smriti Irani, would inaugurate it. And we had this random thought, okay, she will inaugurate it, but how do we go about it? So we took numbers from Google, called her PS, asked. 3.5 months we kept following up with them. We want a date with ma'am that she had to inaugurate. And after all this follow-up, they finally gave us a date of 20th Feb 2015. And 3 days before the event, on 17th, when we were about to board the train, because the inauguration was in Delhi, we get a call that Madam, urgent cabinet meeting aa gayi hai, ma'am nahi aa payenge. And we were all shattered that, okay, we have planned all that thing and it's not going to happen. So we would have left that thought at that point of time, but we didn't. So We kept thinking for maybe about 10-15 days that how do we go about it now. We didn't launch the website because we couldn't get Smriti Irani. So we thought about it for a couple of days, and then Arjun, my co-founder, being from Kerala, he found a common connection, someone who knew Dr. Shashi Tharoor. So we thought, okay, let's approach him because he might be the better person because he had foreign education experience. We approached his PS, we got a date of 29th April 2015. And everything seemed very sorted. So just 2 days before the event, Shashi Tharoor's PS called asking for the venue. So that's the thing, I mean, we didn't had any venue thought in mind. So we thought everything is sorted, we'll go to Minister's home, we'll launch, he will open the website, we'll take some photos, he will tweet about us, and that's what we wanted. So that's what we wanted, but then they asked for venue. So 3 days before the event, now we are roaming all around Delhi, searching for a venue. Somebody told, go to India Habitat Center. We went there, okay, what's the charge? It's about 35,000 plus taxes for the smallest hall. We didn't have that much money, we never worked. The only money we had was saved from a scholarship. So the challenge at that stage was how to get it cheap or free. So somebody told us that, okay, there is a Kerala house in Delhi where there is a small auditorium. You can get it for very low cost or almost free, but you need a recommendation for that. So now we started searching who can recommend us. So again, Arjun found one uncle who was president of one Kerala Samajam, who could give us a letter which can be the recommendation letter for it. Now again, that uncle was like, okay, it was 28th of April by the time, and 29th was the launch. And that uncle is like, I'm going out of city for 2 days, so I cannot give you the letter now, I would have helped you. Again thinking, what can we do? So we requested, uncle, can you give us your blank letterheads? We'll print a letter on that, and maybe we'll make a stamp and put on that, and we'll submit the letter. But uncle told, okay, I'll give you blank letterhead with a stamp already on it, and you print on that. We got it done. Morning we submitted at Kerala House. By 4 o'clock, they confirmed the venue. 5:30 was the event when Shashi Tharoor was supposed to come. We didn't had any time left. We couldn't invite press, which was our main target, celebrity and a press conference kind of thing. So we were lucky to, for an incident that happened that day, is that Nepal earthquake just had happened that time, and Indian government were evacuating some Indian citizens, and one batch was supposed to come that day evening to Kerala House. So there were already a set of media people camped up there. So we went to ask them, okay, can you come? Shashi Tharoor is coming. Can you come and take some pictures and all? And they agreed. So everything was sorted. Shashi Tharoor's car was right at the gate. We were going to greet him, and we realized, okay, we didn't even had a bouquet to greet him. So we looked around and we found a pot with one flower in it. We plucked the flower, and Shashi Tharoor came out of car, and I was like, sir, this is... So he accepted it gracefully, and the event went well. The total event costed us 1,400 rupees, including tea and samosas for press people. So yeah, so I think as a startup, that's the biggest challenge, how you get things even when you don't have any money. We dreamt about it, that we want a celebrity launch. People spend so much money about it, and we spent 1,400 and we still got a celebrity launch for our website. So. So that's how our journey started, and VMake Scholars is doing good right now. We are 25 members team, and we were funded by under one of the Ministry of IT scheme. And we still get inquiries from students from 200 plus countries, which was again the stats when we started as a Facebook group. Students from countries like Syria, Afghanistan also come to our website searching for scholarships. So those are the stats right now. So I want to conclude my talk here with a lesson that you can be whatever you want to be. Doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where I did my schooling from. I'm standing here right in front of you with my entrepreneurship story. So that your background should not stop you. But one thing you have to understand, that it won't come easy. You need to put a lot of hard work into it, because if it would have been that easy, then everyone would climb the ladder. Everyone would be there. So you have to work hard. So there are 4 lessons which I want to tell you from my story. Number 1, you need to work hard. Doesn't matter luck, opportunity, all those things will come up, but working hard is the basic thing. And it's not just for like right now or this year or next 2 years. You have to work out consistently throughout your life. So I remember my mother telling me, work hard till 10th board exams and after that life will be sorted. So it doesn't work that way. You have to consistently work hard. Number 2, you have to leave your comfort zone. Whether it's a high-paying job, I know it's so tough to leave that, or whether it's like you are a small town girl and you have to move out to a bigger city. It's challenging, but the journey starts there when you leave your comfort zone and challenge yourself. Number 3, which I think might be different from what others say, but I don't think there is a point of looking at the stars and dreaming. There is no point of thinking of your final goal that one day I want to make a $10 million company or $100 million company. If you cannot work on ground reality, if you cannot do your step 1 with most honesty, step 10th will never happen. So think small, like not small goal-wise, but think of your next challenge. Try to solve that. The next challenges will come up, and I think sir mentioned it very rightly that they didn't think of these expanding to 10 cities. They just thought about how do they do the best job today. And the last learning from my journey is that there will be many stages, many phases in your life when you will feel weak, when you will feel low. When you challenge yourself, you go to a competitive environment, you will feel low, you will feel inferior. But it's all about how you go back to bed, think about why you started. Maybe if you want to cry a little bit, cry, and revive your faith in destiny. Get up next day morning and start working hard. It's all about that. Yeah. Thank you.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.